As you can see, we almost doubled in size now from the start of the game in 12 years, and we got different expansion paths from now on. We can expand into North Africa, what we are going to do. We can expand into the British Isles, which we are also going to do. Hello guys, and welcome back. This video is meant to be an easy guide for France in 1.35 Domination that you can recreate no matter your skill level and still create a powerful France in the first 30 to 40 years. This guide will also be separated into 3 different parts. The first one being the preparations for the war against the English, the second one being the actual war, and the third one being everything after the war, the options you got and the directions you can expand into. Also, for this to be the most effective, you actually want to restart until Burgundy does not rival you, as you can see here. But you don't have to do that. Everything else in this guide will not be RNG dependent. So let's now start with the preparations. As always, I'm going with all the mana points for all estates. Also with the clergy, I'm going with religious diplomats and reform progress growth. For the nobility, I'm going with the prestige decay 1 and increase levies. And for the bourgeoisie, I'm going with the tax modifier, the provincial trade modifier, the burger loans of course, and the patronage of the arts. So with the advisors, you actually sometimes start with 3 to 2 to 1 half cost ones, and of course I would always go with them. They are either in the diplomatic or admin category. As you can see here, I got the admin one, but I didn't got a diplomatic one, so I'm just going with a normal one, improve relations. And for military, you want to go with either discipline or morale, but you don't have to. It's not that important as France, even in the early game, so take whatever you want. I'm going with the fort defense for now. We want to focus on admin, just so we can rush the idea groups. Let's break the alliance with Provence in case they get excommunicated. And for a similar reason, revoke the guarantee with Scotland, because we are going to expand into the British Isles. Also, for the rivals, we're going of course with England and whoever else rivaled you right at the start. So that would be Denmark and Castile in my case. Now, in preparation for the war against the English, we are going to recruit the Free Company in the south, as well as 2 extra units. And 3 regiments in the north, where you actually want to split up 1 infantry regiment, allow attachment, and place it over here in Reims. And then of course, with your subjects, set them on supportive, so we can use this 1 regiment with the help of our vessels to siege down Calais. Now, you also want one of your starting generals, Jean Bureau, as the leader of your army in the south. This is because we got a mission where we have to fight or either win 4 battles with Jean Bureau, and after we did that we get 3 cannons 30 or 40 years before all other nations in the game, except the Ottomans. They got a similar mission. They don't do any damage in combat, but they of course will help us extremely in sieges. So we want to rush this mission as fast as possible. Now, we also want an alliance with the papacy, just for the papal influence, and of course, so we don't get excommunicated. Also, now that we got 2-3 diplomats, we can improve with Burgundy, so we get the alliance with them as fast as possible. And we want to improve with Orléans, because they are our strongest vassal, and we want to keep them in check. Now, it's the 11th of December, so we got all the preparations, so we're going to attack the English now. With the Reconquest CB, of course, doesn't matter which province you take, I'm just going with Maine. So let's declare now. Right at the start of the war, we want to go for the fort in Labour and Caen. And then we need to get military access with Burgundy so we can siege down Calais. Also, of course, we need our vessels to attach first. So, now that everyone arrived and we got the access, we can start sieging down Calais. Now that the siege of Labour is finished, we can actually take the mission, retake Gascony, which will make taking these two provinces in a peace deal a lot cheaper than normally. And we move back to Bordeaux, so we don't get attacked until the rest of our forces can come down south to help us out. There is the second siege. And there's the last one, the siege of Calais. I have to admit, I actually got pretty lucky with the sieges. So now we are going to move one of our forces down south, and the other one will stay in the north to defend possible invasions from the English. And of course the other two armies will start sieging down Portugal. So as you can see now, England started sieging down Calais. For now I'm just hoping that one of my sieges in Portugal is faster than the one in Calais, but if not I have to stop one of them. There is the siege of Lisbon, so we can now move in the north and actually have to fight this death stack of the British. But that's alright, we can hopefully stack wipe them even. And there's the stack wipe with the Spanish conditorry. So we even got to weaken one of our other rivals in this first war. The British are really tryharding right now. They got like 50k in northern France, but it doesn't help them as much as they might think. Now we can stack wipe the first army. There is the siege of Evora. Now what we want to do is actually also siege down the last Portuguese fort, which is in Ceuta, because we are going to take this province in the peace deal. Now you have to be fast with this one, because the Portuguese navy will try to hinder you from crossing. So maybe you have to wait some time before you are able to actually cross. Now there seem to be no Portuguese ships, so we can try to cross. And now they moved into the tiles, so we have to wait. We can also try to distract them with our navy. In some cases this helps. Now also attack the British again before they unify their troops. And now we can get the mission for refine the bombards, which gives us the 3 cannons I talked about earlier. So these will come in handy really good in the later parts of the run. We can also start justifying now on the next Irish miner. Of course we have to wait for actually getting claims after the war with the English. Now we can get the first admin tag. So in this case I actually needed to land troops in Tunisia. They will give you military access, so that's not a problem. Most of the time you can just cross it when timing it right, but if it's not possible in your run like in my, Just try to land troops if you're starting transports in Tunis and then move them over there to the fort manually. Now we also got a mission for reducing all of our subjects' liberty desire to under 10. Also, like I said before, after we improved relations with Burgundy until kept, they now love us and will take a royal marriage. No alliance because we're still in a war, but we can get the alliance after the war, so just go with the royal marriage first. Now that finally the siege of Ceuta is over, we can end this war. Normally it would be over 1 or 2 years earlier, but it's no problem. Now peace out the Portuguese. We're going with all the money, war reparations, and of course the province Ceuta, so we can later on expand into Northern Africa. Now for the peace deal against the English, we're taking all the continental provinces, we're taking all their money. Normally we also would go for Pale, but Pale is sieged down by Scotland and this war could go on for a while. So we are going to use another strategy for actually conquering Scotland. So let's peace them out now. Of course, we have 2 provinces to actually core. Now, we also want to increase autonomy in Ceuta, so no rebels will rise up in this province. We now also can get the mission Liberate Normandy. We actually need to build more galleys now. You can do that always, but I need to do it because I lost most of my ships trying to cross from Granada to Ceuta. We are not going with the new vessel, we want all of these provinces for ourselves. Now what we want to do is look out for an Irish miner that is actually willing to get vassalized, so in this case again Kildare is a good option for that. We can also state Normandy and Gascony now. So for now we are waiting for Kildare to become our vessels so we can actually expand into Ireland. Also now we can get the alliance with Burgundy. As you can see, now we also want claims against Morocco. Fun fact, as you can see in the game, the Breton culture counts as a French culture group, but in real life Brittany actually was one of the last places where some sort of a Celtic culture was intact or predominantly. So actually Breton should be in the same culture group as Cornwall and Welsh, but take the statement with a grain of salt because I don't know that much about history, but it makes sense in the game perspective. If you want to go above the 190 relations threshold to actually be able to diplo-vassalize a nation, you can also always guarantee them, which I just did. You can give them military access if they want to. You can send them a gift for plus 25 more relations. You of course also want to improve relations right from the start for the maximum of 100. You can give them subsidies, and of course as a great power you can influence the nation and take on their debt. But you can't have loans to do that. We can also delete the fort in Chartres now. Okay, that one is actually pretty interesting and weird. So I never saw something like this before, I didn't even know it was possible. Castile right now is in a war against England as an attacker to take Labor. The only problem is we just took Glabor, so I guess Castile declared the war before we offered a peace deal. So now they're stuck in a war where no side can actually control the province. Now we're actually able to diplo-vassalize Kildare, so let's do that. We can stop improving relations with them. And now we can declare war on Brittany. Sometimes they get big neighbors as alliances, for example England often, Burgundy often, but in this case they only got some German minors, so Strasbourg and Utrecht. Therefore we can just attack them. So let's declare now. I also waited until we could vassalize Kildare, so they don't get the relation hit for aggressive expansion after the peace deal. We can state Calais. We can also get our claim on Morocco now, so let's go with Fez for that. And we can get a claim for Granada. Also, don't forget to always use your cannons while sieging. Now Utrecht is close to actually capitulating. Or they're white piecing. And as you can see over here, Scotland is actually winning the war against England. Or right at the moment it seems like it. So again, we wish them luck, but in the end it doesn't really matter because we're going to conquer both of them soon anyway. Now Brittany capitulated, so we can actually take all of their provinces and get 140 ducats as well. Of course, need to core everything up. And now we can actually start our invasion of Ireland. So Kildare actually gave us some claims on other minors. So we only need to move our troops across the sea and can then start actually unifying Ireland. Of course, under our rule. There is the claim for Granada. And now we can improve again with Burgundy and the papacy for more papal influence. Now we can get the next government reform. And we're going with the compromise with the nobility, so we don't got more nobility influence than necessary, and also we can stay with increased levies until the end of the game because it does not longer increase the influence nor decrease the max absolutism. And also we get step cost modifier -15. Now we can actually declare war for the rest of Ireland, or most of the rest. So let's do that now. There is the excommunication of Provence. Let me see how much that actually impacts us. They are only allied to Switzerland. Switzerland won't even join. And we got 3 provinces with the excommunicated ruler that you can actually take. The excommunicated ruler CBE works that way that you get the -50% aggressive expansion for every province that you border or that you got a claim on. So because we border actually 3 provinces of them, we could get a claim on Toulon as well. Then we would get the discount for all provinces. But because we border these 3 provinces, we can take them very cheaply, so we are going to do that after we finished Ireland. We can actually choose now our first idea group, therefore you can choose whatever fits your playstyle the best, so you can go for a military one to dominate continental Europe even more. You could go with the economic or admin ideas. I personally will go with the exploration ideas, because this is a way we can expand even faster in different directions, which is actually a point I talked about in my 7 tips for beginner in EU4 video, so you can check that out too if you want to. But for now we're going with the exploration ideas. And there's the last siege in Ireland, so we can peace out all the miners now, and we are giving all this land to our vessel Kildare, so we don't have to core it up. If you're going for the Big Blue Blob achievement, of course you want to take all of these provinces for yourself, but I actually recommend, if you want to do this achievement, that you make a special run only for the achievement, because your priorities will just be different than in a normal run, where you want to expand as efficiently as possible, where with the achievement you want to expand as fast as possible and actually want to take lesser developed provinces from Portugal or Ireland or Scotland, for example. Also, if you want to see a speedrun guide or something like that for the Big Blue Blob achievement, write it in the comments. But let's go on with the campaign now. Now let's actually attack Provence. And get a claim on Scotland. We can also now stop transferring trade power from Bordeaux to Champagne, because we have so little influence in Champagne, only 24%, that we actually will make profit when we just collect in Bordeaux. So right now we got 4.23 ducats per month trade income, and after we collected now we got 5.49. There's the siege of Anjou, so now we can actually take at least the provinces that are discounted. So let's just full annex them actually, take the money, then we can complete a mission. So let's do that now. Of course, don't forget to core everything up. It was work suggestion before. And now we can get the mission, the Provençal question. We can get a claim on Scotland now. As you can see, we almost doubled in size now from the start of the game in 12 years. Also, nearly all of the provinces we conquered are in our culture group, so we actually strongly benefit from them. And we got different expansion paths from now on. We can expand into North Africa, what we are going to do. We can expand into the British Isles, which we are also going to do. And we can expand actually into Iberia through Castile or Aragon. Whatever will be the better option. Also we can destroy the castle in Finestre, because no one is going to siege over there. So this is actually it for today. We almost unified the whole French region, and more importantly we got our foot into the British Isles and into North Africa, so we could expand into both regions if we want to. Of course, we got a little bit of a coalition. It didn't fire until now, and it won't, because for example Austria is right at 47 now. It was at 50 before the tick of the year, but if we would conquer more provinces right now, we would get in coalition. But if you are a newer player, it's actually no problem to just wait 5 to 10 years to get rid of the aggressive expansion, and then you can expand even more. Also, we could just wait for 2 years and then expand into North Africa. So I hope this guide actually helped you. I tried to make it a way so lesser experienced players could also follow all the steps and see what I'm doing and for which reason, and therefore can replicate it without much trouble. And as I said right at the start, Burgundy is the only RNG element of this guide, so if you don't like to restart, you can do all of that with Burgundy rivaling you right at the start of the game. I'm thinking about making a second part where we actually do expand into the British Isles and into North Africa and Iberia therefore, and hopefully then get the Burgundian inheritance. So if you want to see that, maybe leave me a comment or a like so I can see that actually someone profited from this guide and there are people that want to see the continuation of this run. So as I said, I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to come back for more content, I hope to see you soon.